Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Most of us have said things we wish we could take back, but for some people, that's a frequent occurrence. The following three-step model has helped my clients. Number one, buy time. Take one deep breath. Because the brain fires millions of times per second, just that single second may buy you enough time to more wisely decide what, if anything, to say. Also, a deep breath lowers your heart rate and blood pressure, thus increasing your ability to decide while calm. Two, and this is optional, analyze the risk-reward of silence, confrontation, or a face-saving response. Often the issue is simple enough that analysis isn't required. Just that second or two to slow down will more often enable you to make a good decision. But sometimes you need time for analysis. For example, today, a client was kicking himself for having instantly lashed out when he was told he was being replaced on a board of directors. He and I took a few minutes to analyze the situation and concluded that even though on the merits, my client was probably right that the company would be better with him on the board, but the chances of reversing the decision was small. His protesting would hurt his reputation among the other board members, who were important to his career, and the benefit of his being on that board was small and even inhered liability, the time involved. Not being on the board would free him up to do more beneficial activities. My client's protest was driven in part, yes, because he thought his removal was a mistake, but it was more driven by the ego hit of having been replaced. After our few minutes of analysis, my client concluded that instead of instantly lashing out at the person, he wished he had taken that deep breath and said he needed to get off the Zoom call for a couple minutes, after which he would have decided to graciously accept the decision and would have benefited as a result. And now number three. Word it properly. If you do decide to say something that could annoy the other person, it's worth taking a bit of additional time to craft the wording. Of course, every situation is different, but in general, it's wise to avoid hitting the person between the eyes, but rather to make your point in a face-saving way. In this case, it might have been, I can understand why you would think that Mary would be a better board member. After all, and then insert a reason or two. On the other hand, I like to think I bring more important benefits to the board, and then insert those. Well, but what do you think? Now, it's very difficult to come up with such tactful yet potentially influencing language on the fly. That's another reason to buy some time before deciding if and how to respond. Maybe just with that one deep breath, or maybe by excusing yourself for a minute, or even, hey, would you mind if I get back to you tomorrow? As with most how-to advice, it's easier to dispense than to implement. That's especially true here because emotion is involved. And if a person has the tendency to go from 0 to 60 in a millisecond, replacing a visceral response, what psychologist Daniel Kahneman calls a level 1 response, with a reflective level 2 response is, like most new habits, requiring of time, patience, and forgiving yourself of setbacks. Now, it's usually 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but progress is usually inexorably forward. Don't give up. This is the sort of problem that can be cured, or at least ameliorated. In any event, I thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.